Well, good morning, everybody. The sun is shining, better than yesterday, that's for sure. We're here in the Styrian Mountains for qualifying for the very first, the start of the weekend here in the Euroformula Open Championship. My name is, of course, George Morgan. The cars now making their way out for the start of qualifying. Joining me here for the first time this season, it's Ian Silvestrin. Ian, welcome to the show.
Thank you, George. Great to be back for this fantastic championship. And thankfully this morning in beautiful sunshine after the rain poured down yesterday here at the fabulous Red Bull Ring. Underway with qualifying this morning. As you look at the championship leader, Oliver Goethe, come out of pit lane in what has to be the best presented single-seater car in world motorsport.
The Golf livery, we love it. Yeah, absolutely superb. Ollie Goethe has been the man in form and leading the championship race right now. Coming off the back of an Imola weekend where he scored big in qualifying. P1 is where the Great Dane landed himself indeed. P1 as well in race 1. After that, though, not such as luck. I mean, he had third there in race 2, fourth then in race 3. Francesco Simonazzi, unfortunately, wasn't able to cultivate the win he was looking for, but he was fastest, folks. Fastest in FP2 in practice yesterday. So keep your eyes peeled. But how about this man? Talk about Cinderella stories. Josh Mason, a second win this season at Imola in race 3. A stunning effort. He led from the front. Obviously, we had reverse grids in race 2 and race 3. He was on pole for both of them, but managed to cultivate the second one into a race win. The whole Mason family were delighted.
A fantastic performance last weekend by Josh Mason at Imola. Comes out onto the circuit now, looking to repeat that victory here this weekend. If you're new to the Euroformula Open Championship, a 20-minute qualifying session this morning. This is round 6 of 8 for 2022, and we race 3 times this weekend at the home of the Austrian Formula 1 Grand Prix. Just taking a look at Josh now, down into turn 3.
Yeah, just some parts flying off the car there, little bits, just small bits coming through. Hopefully that's not too much of a concern, but still okay, out and about on track. As now watching them head through turn 1. There's Vladislav Lomko, currently leading the rookie standings right now, the winner of the Grand Prix de Pau this season, and a real fighter as well out at the front. Has challenged the likes of Ollie Goethe, has been at the sharp end against the likes of Christian Mansell as well. You would not write this man off to score big here at Austria. Plenty of high-speed corners, but at the same time, a technical circuit. When you ride up to the top of turn 3, the highest elevation point on the circuit, it is quite a challenge to obviously make sure you time the brakes at the right time, and obviously it's going to be a huge test for these drivers. No less, talking a big test, the DriveX team fielding Ayet and Simmons this weekend, and he has not had a lot of preparation heading into this one, so the team were hoping that they could do just whatever they could in order to come out on top. They're also fielding a rookie, Daniel Nogales, as well, from Spanish F4, and he is making his debut in the Euroformula this weekend, representing the rookie classification. So excited to see how he fares in the DriveX car as well.
From Spanish F4, in fact, 12 months ago, Daniel Nogales from Spain was racing in the Spanish kart racing championships for Kart Republic. Ayrton Simmons, we saw him in the car park on Thursday with his race equipment, and it was, oh, hi Ayrton, welcome back to Euroformula, second in the British Formula 3 Championship in 2021. As we see Vlad Lomko come across the line, P1 at the moment, early stage of the session. One of 3 drivers to have taken pole position in 2022, along with Christian Mansell. And of course, Oliver Goethe, 5 times he started out of Grid 1, the championship leader. We watch Vlad Lomko, the adopted French driver, come up the hill in car 69. This is Frank Simon, Francesco Simonazzi, BVM Racing. Raced in the final round in 2021. A quiet start for the Italian from the Italian F4 Championship. Wow, in the last few rounds he has come on and is a contender here for victory here this weekend. Car 84, the Italian, across the line, goes to the top at this early stage of the session with a 126.276. The Italian for the Italian team here in Austria, at the moment in position 1.
Yeah, he's doing a sterling job indeed. He had a little bit of a reflection after Hungary. He said, as he headed into the weekend, I need to be more aggressive, need to throw more into the car, into his driving. And certainly we've seen a different Simonazzi, I think, since then. Obviously challenged the likes of Mansell and Goethe, pulled off the most sensational move, heading around turn 2, switching back in behind Goethe's car, unleashing the beast underneath that BVM car, unlocking the door and taking P2, nearly challenging as well Christian Mansell for that that top end spot. Couldn't quite get it, but nevertheless, it was such a dazzling display, to say the least. As we're now watching Vlad Lomko, he hits P1 now with a 125.314. The time's now starting to cascade downwards steadily, folks. He is now just under a second faster than that of Francesco Simonazzi, who sits in P2. But obviously, it's all on Francesco. He certainly looks sharp. He came into FP2. He took top spot. Can he try and get himself at least a victory? He was hoping for one at Imola. Could Austria do him a favour here today?
Almost a home race for Francesco. Incidentally, Josh Mason has come down into the pits for the second time. George, you noted a few moments ago that something appeared to come off his car. It may have just been debris on the circuit. He came down into pit lane, and the team quick to have a look. They sent him back out, the Crypto Tower racing team, but he's back down in the pits again. They're looking at the front left car. We'll try and get a shot of Josh Mason in car 21, race winner at Imola. At the moment, he's in the pits. As we focus in on Vlad Lomko, as George said, the Po Grand Prix winner from 2022, one of the most famous events in world motorsport, one of the few FIA Grand Prix awarded for not a Formula One class. Vlad Lomko, purple in the first sector, purple in the second. The time to beat at the moment, a 125.3. We expect pole position, especially as the sun comes out to shine and the Michelin rubber comes down on the 4.3 kilometre circuit. We expect pole to be in the 124s. We watch Vlad across the line. There we go, 124.766. And they're still working on the 21 car. Down in the pits, this is concerning for Josh Mason. And this is the championship leader. Purple in sector 1, purple in sector 2. Sideways through the Jochen Rindt curves. We watch the Great Dane come across the line. The championship leader looking for his 6th pole position of 2022. Goes P1, a 124.754.
Blistering lap indeed, starting to come downwards. Ollie Goethe starting to try and nestle himself a top end placement for the start of race 1. Had a wonderful weekend as well, represented the Euroformula organisation in Formula 3 not long ago. A very impressive result, getting a P4 as well for Campos, and now making his return as well, already going faster in the first sector as well. Goethe on a flyer again as he now makes his way down through towards Schloss Gold, and he'll hold on to P1 for now. Mansell is in second place. He registered a time just above 100th of a second, which is incredible indeed. Christian Mansell, the Aussie, ever so determined. We've seen battles between Goethe and Mansell all season long. Every single time they blow us away. Of course, the championship is still on the line, very much on the line, as Vlad Lomko has just gone purple in the second sector as well. So these drivers who've been fighting it out in the top 3. Vlad Lomko, of course, leader of the rookie standings. Now we're seeing him cross the line. He now takes P1 at this point as well, nestles himself right up to the top ahead of Ollie Goethe. Christian Mansell coming up next, but Goethe, he's still flying.
Vlad Lomko actually had a time deleted a few laps ago. He's in position 3 as we look at Oliver Goethe. Purple in the first sector, purple in the second sector across the line. We may get into the 123s here. Goes to the top of 124.321 for car 96. 5 pole positions for Oliver in 2022. Christian Mansell at the moment P2. He took pole position at one of the French rounds of the series. That was a Paul Ricard Le Castellet earlier on in the series. As Ollie races up the hill into turn 3. Magnificent racing cars. We have to talk about the Dallara EF320 car. Possibly the best racing car Dallara has ever produced. We're looking at the times I don't have in front of me, but traditionally in the past, the FIA Formula 3 Championship, and remember, they've got a V6 engine producing almost 400 horsepower. The top times from FIA Formula 3, only about a second and a half faster than the front runners in Euroformula Open. And as you mentioned, George, so many drivers from this championship racing for the FIA F3 Championship. As we look at Josh back out on track this weekend, which will be decided at Monza. We hope you stay with us for the 3 races here this weekend, as possibly one of our alumni from the championship take out the FIA F3 series down in Italy.
Yeah, absolutely right. Oliver Goethe, of course, as we alluded to, fighting to become, obviously, the driver with the most wins in a single Euroformula season. Felipe Drugovich currently holds on to that honour, and he's currently dominating in the world of Formula 2 right now. Exactly. Which is absolutely sensational. 14 wins to beat for Ollie Goethe. Can he pull it off with 9 still to go? We'll have to wait and see, folks, but that's exactly why, as Ian O'Reilly said, you need to stay with us to watch that all unfold. Of course, now seeing the cars make their way around still as times continue. We've seen some time deletions there. Vlad Lomko, as Ian alluded to, turned 10 on the previous lap. Obviously, some of these points are very, very sensitive, certainly to wheels going off the circuit. They've got absolutely every sensor known to man. All the cameras out watching, making sure that these cars adhere to track limits. There's Freddie Lubin, who pulled off such an unbelievable defensive display last time out at Imola, trying to keep Olli Goethe in behind. Also came together with Simonazzi, but Simonazzi getting the better of him, heading through Acqua Minerale at that particular moment. There's Lomko, and currently sat in the car as well. How about this man, Ayrton Simmons, who currently sits 8th in our standings right now, coming in, as I said before, not quite prepared for the weekend. It was all very last minute, but of course he is a podium sitter this season. Managed to get a podium in Hungary as we made our way through this championship. And here's his teammate, Daniel Nogales, as well, fresh from Spanish F4 and ready to take on the challenge of Euroformula.
Mansell down in pit lane, currently in position 2, also had... Gee, it's really become a curse in world motor racing, this term track limits. We put in a gravel trap or grass and it's self-policing. Anyhow, that's an argument for another day. This is Christian, second in qualifying at the moment and second in the championship. As we go back to Josh, who locks up at the top of the hill, runs wide, and that's a lap ruin potentially. Damage to the Michelin tyres as well. Great to see DriveX back in the championship, and great to see Ayrton Simmons back as pit lane starts to get very busy. Car 24, Alex Garcia, as Ollie is pushed back in car 96.
Yeah, just wheeling him back in now as the team go to work on the car, get ready for the final runs in this session. Of course, we're now coming into the to where it starts to get a little bit sensitive. 7 minutes and 30 to go. The teams will be working very hard to try and get themselves back to the top. There you can see the standings in your bottom right-hand corner, folks. Olli Goethe, 362 points, with Christian Mansell only 78 in behind. Vladislav Lomko, 109 in behind those two in third place. But don't forget, Vlad Lomko leading the Rookie Championship at this stage and doing exceptionally well as well. But if you look at the margins between all three drivers, it could all swing in a matter of moments, of course, because if you think about it, 9 races still to go, points on the table, it can easily swing. And Mansell coming into this weekend so determined, we could be seeing an electric race weekend here.
This is round 6 of 8 of 2022. We started at Estoril in Portugal, the world famous, the historic Pau Grand Prix, staying in France, Paul Ricard, Spa-Francorchamps, Hungaroring, that was in Budapest, and then Imola just 6 days ago in fact. This is round 6 of 8, the Red Bull Ring. We go to Monza in 2 weeks' time, and then go to the circuit of Catalonia in Spain for the championship decider. Olli Goethe, yes, he is the championship leader, and he's currently on position 1 as we check the order. Goethe on provisional pole position as we move into the final quarter of qualifying. This is Francesco Simonazzi on your screen, currently in P6. We'll see what the Italian does as he comes across the line in car 84 for BVM Racing. Not the best sector, in fact, that's nowhere near it. And he stays down in position 6. So Goethe on provisional pole, Mansell out of P2, Britons at Frederick Lumid out of 3, Josh Mason, Imola race winner in 4, Vlad Lomko P5, then Simonazzi, Garcia, Simmons on his return, as is the DriveX team with Daniel Nogales making his debut in Euroformula. Great to have the young Spaniard in the field in car 63. Francesco Simonazzi will check the time from the first sector as he races down the back straight. And this roller coaster ride at the most picturesque circuit in the world. The fabulous Red Bull Ring in Austria. Not a bad first sector for Francesco. Car 84 down through the Roush curves. And he races down the hill. We'll check the second sector. Would dearly love to take pole position. But at the moment, Olli Goethe holds pole. P1 by almost half a second over the Australian Christian Mansell. Lubin in position 3, just over 5 minutes remaining, qualifying round 6 of the 2022 Euroformula Open Championship. Not a bad second sector as well for Simonazzi as Daniel Nogales on debut in Euroformula Open. The Spanish driver for the Spanish team here in Austria. We watch Simonazzi through the Jochen curves 1 and 2. Accelerates, comes across the line. We'll check the time for the Italian driver, position 6 at the moment with a 1:25.470. And he shoots up to position 2 at 24.636, goes faster than Mansell. He's in position 2, an outside front row start on the grid. As you look at Daniel Nogales go rallycross, Wow, does nicely to get it back on the bitumen and continue on. Welcome to Euroformula, Daniel Nogales. Yes, these cars are an absolute handful. They are a missile, as Daniel is just finding out.
Yeah, they certainly are indeed. The drivers really do love this chassis. They love the car itself, of course. This circuit sticks to the track like glue, and they love the Michelin tyres as well around this circuit as well. As we now see Vladislav Lomko currently sat in 6th place. Remember, he suffered a time deletion earlier on, the time that sent him to the top. Of course, this lap not necessarily representative at this stage. Simonazzi, though, looking for improvements in the first sector as well. So the car's now starting to make out on their final runs here in this session with just over 3.5 minutes still to go. 3 minutes and 40 to be exact. Christian Mansell also out and about. He nestles in a reasonable first sector time, as now we see certainly coming across the line. Vladislav Lomko still remains in 6th place. And as we now see him make his way up through towards Remus, turn 3. And this is the time, this is the moment where the drivers need to be on song. They need to be attuned to the circuit. They've done all the talking. Now it's time to put it into action. Simonazzi not quite nestling in an improvement. Was a little bit of an error, I think, heading through the 3rd sector, but 2nd place still on the timing screen. Mansell, though, might want to usurp that. Vlad Lomko just gone purple in the 1st sector as well. Here comes Mansell coming through the final corner. He's now going to make his way down the long straight, leading up through towards turn 1, but first he'll cross the line. Where's the Aussie going to place himself? P1 he goes, a 124.288. The marker laid down now here, Ian Salvestri.
Christian Mansell up into position 1, second in the championship, overtakes the championship leader, Oliver Goethe, with a 124.321. Christian by 0.03 of a second. And Mansell goes to pole position, but Vlad Lomko is absolutely flying. You watch the adopted French driver on your screen, purple in sector 1, purple in sector 2. Lines it up as he comes onto the straight out of the Jochen curves. He's had 3 times deleted so far. Let's hope that's not the case again as he comes across the line. Vlad Lomko P1 and provisional pole for the Pau Grand Prix winner, 124.124. He's almost into the 123s. Christian Mansell back to P2. The championship leader, Goethe, P3. Simonazzi, P4. From Leuven, Mason, Simmons, Garcia, and Daniel Nogales.
Yeah, Christian Mansell coming through as well. Purple in the 1st sector. That's now been taken by Vlad Lomko. They are really dueling it out now here with 2 minutes still to go. Goethe out on track. He is also looking to try and find improvements to retake that first position that he is oh so ever used to. Lomko, though, finding acres of time in that 1st sector, as now we see Christian Mansell head around the final corner as well. Can the Aussie once again go atop of that? Well, he currently holds the top spot anyway, but he can look to improve it, that's for sure. A 24.187, a purple 3rd sector. So again, finding that improvement, but Vladislav Lomko is still out on track. Here comes Ollie Goethe as well. Can he try and get himself ahead of Mansell? A big 3rd sector is what's required. Lomko is flying again, as now the Great Dane comes up across the line with just over a minute still to go. Ollie Goethe, it's a 23.908, takes 1st position here at this point. Lomko comes through now with just over a minute to go. He's got purple in sector 1. He's held it in 2. He's coming down into 3. He'll come across the line. The French adopted driver who has sensationalized this championship already before goes across the line. P3. Oh, he just lost it in that 3rd sector, but no one could stop Goethe, at least for now, but we still have time remaining.
This will be the final lap. We are into the final minute of qualifying, and Oliver into the 123s. We do have to check the times from qualifying from the FIA F3 Championship, because this is fast on what is a very green circuit. The sun is shining, but it has rained overnight. There is not much rubber down on the circuit. As Vlad Lomko currently in position 4, sideways as he comes down the hill. Goethe, the championship leader, in position 1. Mansell back in 2nd place from Mason. As you look at Ollie on his final flying lap. Puts the right rear Michelin into the gravel. That will cost him. Does not lift though, but loses some momentum. Ollie Goethe still on provisional pole position by 0.2 of a second. 5 seconds to the end of qualifying, round 6, the 2022 Euroformula Open Championship. Unless he does something spectacular in this corner right here, he won't improve. He's on provisional pole position. A messy exit out of the Jochen curves. That checkered flag flies. Goethe on provisional pole position. Crosses the line, does not improve. We wait and see if Mansell, Mason or Lomko, who is absolutely flying, can knock the Great Dane off the top spot. At the moment, Goethe is on pole position for the 6th time in 2022. Lomco does not improve. A 24 dead for car 69. We wait for Christian Mansell.
Yeah, we certainly do indeed. We are now right in the great. Well, the checkered flag has been waved, folks. Goethe and Lomco already crossing the line. Simmons has crossed the line into 7th. Alex Garcia in 8th as well. Still cars are out on track, but there is Goethe currently holding on to that first place spot. He will obviously await confirmation as to whether he will start on pole in tomorrow. Well, certainly in the race later on, as moves his way around this next right. Mansell has shown a purple first sector, as now we're watching more cars make their way through, including Freddie Lubin, who will now cross the line. Can he get an improvement from P5? Had a good first sector, lost it slightly in the second, 24.603. Not quite enough to improve, as now they all come across the line. Mason remains in 4th, Simonazzi 6th. That's the end of qualifying. Goethe's on pole.
For the 6th time in 2022. A great start to the weekend for the Danish driver. And as what we said is the most beautiful car in single-seater world motor racing. 6th pole position for 2022 for the championship leader. Pulls into pit lane and will start out of grid 1 for race 1 here at the Red Bull Ring in Austria this afternoon. Lomco incidentally had 5 laps deleted, including his final lap, but it was good enough for position 2 in car 69. Christian Mansell will check the order for you in just a moment officially. At the moment sits on position 3. No word from race control if there was a problem for that, so it looks like an inside second row start for the Australian. The championship leader, the Danish flag on the side of his car and his helmet, Oliver Goethe. 6 pole positions for 2022.
Yeah, wonderful result indeed, one he will be proud of. Has certainly benefited off the experience in F3 as well, representing Euroformula, as many have done so in the feeder series leading up to Formula 1. Many great drivers have come through this championship, and Ollie certainly looks to be one of them. Currently atop of the drivers' classification, and he's on top of this classification for the start of this race later on this afternoon. And I can imagine his coach, Stuart Hall, will be very impressed. Oliver Goethe, he's the man on pole. A 23.908 is what grabbed him pole position. Vladislav Lomco in 2nd, just wasn't quite enough. Track limits did not help him. Christian Mansell there in 3rd, with Josh Mason in 4th as well. Freddie Lubin in 5th, Francesco Simonazzi in 6th. Ayrton Simmons lies in 7th, with Alex Garcia in 8th. The newcomer, Daniel Nogales, starts 9th. Out of Spanish F4, he is now here in Euroformula, starts from 9th.
Good effort from Daniel, thrown in the deep end, and that is an understatement. And a pretty respectable time for the young Spanish driver, but Oliver Goethe pole position here in the sunshine at Austria. We'll try and get a word with the pole sitter, who's down in pit lane with Alfredo Filippone. Let's go and hear from the pole sitter, Oliver Goethe, here at the Red Bull Ring.
Oliver Goethe. We are at Red Bull Ring, and it's again pole position, 6 out of 7, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, no, it was a really good quali. We're aiming to get 3 laps in the second stint, but only got 2, so there was a bit more pressure to get that lap done, and I managed to do it on the first lap. Made a few mistakes in the second lap, so that prevented me to improve. But no, it was a good lap. Still not perfect, so still stuff to work on. But yeah, really happy with it.
And of course, the conditions are during the weekend. How you manage that?
Yeah, I mean, if it's dry, it's dry. If it's wet, it's wet. Whatever condition, I'll give it my best go. And yeah, I can't decide what it's going to be. So whatever it is, I'll do my best and try to get the win.
Well done.
Great start for Team Motorpark as well, who are in for a very busy weekend here at the Red Bull Ring. Position 3 on the grid, Christian Mansell. Vladislav Lomco was on position 1 for much of the session, but in the end, the more things change, the more they stay the same. The championship leader, Oliver Goethe, to start from pole position for race 1 here at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. Thanks for your company. We'll see you for the first of 3 races at 3:30 local time this afternoon here in Austria. We'll see you then.